Hello, Telangana TET aspirants. Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to start this free coaching for Telangana TET exam. Coaching classes for child development and pedagogy, English, and social subjects are provided through our YouTube channel, Srimata Education. So, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be uploading regular classes on the Telangana TET examination. So, in this live session, we are going to discuss one important concept from the child development and pedagogy. The primary concept, development, growth, and maturation. So, from the first unit of child development and pedagogy, there is one concept called development, growth, and maturation. So, we are going to provide a detailed information on this particular topic, and we are going to provide some important pointers that you can use that you can use for last minute preparation, and these points will help you to answer the MCQ questions very accurately in the exam. So this is for English medium child development and pedagogy, development, growth, and maturation. So now let's not waste much time, and let's get into the details. Let's get into the details and understand the concept. So in this live session, we are going to discuss growth, development, and maturation. Growth, development, and maturation. So this is the important concept. So I'm just sharing my screen. Give me a second. I'm sharing my screen and I will explain it accordingly. Just I'm sharing my screen. Just give me a moment. So yeah, I'm going to explain it very shortly. And uh, so child development and pedagogy. One important concept in child development and pedagogy is development, growth, and maturation. So this is one of the important topics in the exam, where from which you can expect at least two to three questions. So in this live class, we will discuss a foundation framework in child development and pedagogy, understanding three distinct but interconnected processes in a child's journey to adulthood. So in this live session, we are going to discuss three distinct concepts that are interconnected processing child's journey to adulthood. So from child's journey from the beginning to adulthood, what is the process, how is it interconnected, so that we are going to discuss in this live session. So there are three distinct processes in this child development. In the development process, there are three distinct processes. One is growth. So what is the definition of growth? Growth means it's a physical, measurable changes, the quantitative side of development. So growth comes under the quantitative side of development. It's not qualitative side of development. Growth is the quantitative side of development. This is one of the very important points because a question can be expected on this in the TGTET exam. And what is the definition of development? Holistic improvement in functioning, both qualitative and quantitative. So development includes both qualitative and quantitative aspects. It's a holistic improvement. Growth is not holistic improvement. Only development comes under holistic improvement. And what is maturation? Unfolding of genetic potential, the body's biological clock. So genetic potential, maturation is more related to genetic potential. So it's more related to genetic potential. It's a biological process basically, the maturation. So growth is physical measurable changes. The quantitative side, growth is a quantitative side of development. Development is a holistic improvement, which is both quantitative and qualitative. And maturation is completely related to biological changes, unfolding of genetic potential, the body's biological clock. So often used interchangeably, but each represents the unique process. So in child development, growth, development, and maturation both play a vital role, both play a very unique role. All three are interconnected and very important. So this is the primary definition. Now, what is quantitative aspect in growth? What is quantitative aspect? So nature, measurable in numbers. So you can measure quantitative aspect of growth in numbers. You can count. And focus, the focus is more on height, weight, size, and internal organs. So in the growth process, the focus is more on counting by numbers, and it's a measurable, no, majorly measurable height, weight, size, and internal organs. And duration stops at maturity. So the growth duration is only till maturity. It's not lifelong. Growth is a not lifelong process in quantitative aspect. It stops at maturity. And predictability, highly predictable and largely hereditary. So it's hereditary. The growth quantitative aspect is majorly hereditary, and it can be predicted. It's something. It's not. It's nothing like it's unpredictable. It can be predicted very easily. And now qualitative aspect in development. What is qualitative aspect? The nature is both quantitative and qualitative. The focus is more on mental, social, emotional, and physical functioning. So, in qualitative aspect of development, the major focus is on mental, social, emotional, and physical functioning. But in the previous quantitative aspect we discussed, it is more about height, weight, biological changes, etc. But here it's like the focus is on mental, social, emotional, and physical functioning, and the duration is lifelong. The qualitative aspect of development, the duration is lifelong and it doesn't stop. It's from conception to death. And key insights: development can continue even after the growth stops. So growth may stop, but development will never stop. Growth may stop, but development is something that will never ever stop. So it's a continuous process in the qualitative aspect of development. Now, biological clock. In maturation, what is biological clock? So, maturation is unfolding of inherent traits and genetic potential, largely independent of practice or activity. So, these are little uncontrollable. This is majorly biological stuff in maturation. A child's legs must mature before they can walk. No amount of early teaching at 2 months can override biological readiness. So, biological changes are very important in this particular maturation aspect. A child has to develop his legs to walk, and till the time the child attains 2 months, till the time the child attains 2 months, the child is not ready for the teaching. For the teaching, so only once the child attains 2 months, then only he is ready to ready for basic teaching like sign language. They learn signs, they understand expressions, sign language, they give gestures. All this happens only after the 2 months, after once the child attains 2 months. So maturation sets the limit for development. This is also one of the important aspects. Now, key differences. What are the key differences between growth, development, and maturation? So let's understand the key differences here. So in feature type, quantitative is a physical growth. The scope is narrow. So in that quantitative physical growth, the scope is narrow and it is easily measurable to a scale or a tape, and it stops at maturity and it's mostly hereditary. So growth is mostly hereditary. It stops at maturity. It is easy to measure. It is narrow in the terms of scope, and it is a physical change. It's a quantitative physical change. And development is both qualitative and quantitative. It's very broad. It's very broad and holistic, and it is very difficult. It is very difficult to measure the development. It is only based on observation. It is very difficult to measure the development. Only through the observation it is possible, and the timeline is lifelong. So development process doesn't stop. It's a continuous process, and the timeline is lifelong. And dependency, it's hereditary and environment. So growth is majorly depends on hereditary, but development majorly depends on hereditary and environment both. And maturation is majorly biological and genetic. It's pre-programmed via measurement. Measurement is based on milestones. So what the child achieved through his the age and it unset capacity, and it's mostly hereditary. So hereditary is a common aspect in growth, development, and maturation. That's a very common aspect. It's a very common aspect here. The only common aspect is hereditary in growth, development, and maturation, but the other points actually vary. So these are the important points, the key differences between growth, development, and maturation. Now the golden formula. So this is very important formula. There might be multiple MCQ questions, 1 or 2 questions. So if you remember this formula, you will be able to answer it very easily. Development is equal to, so what is development? It's a combination of growth plus maturation plus learning. So this is the sequence: growth plus maturation plus learning. So this is the right sequence for the development: growth, maturation, and learning. So growth is what you see on a ruler, like you can measure. Development is what you see in a child's ability to solve a problem or make a friend. See, you can only observe the development when the child starts growing. When the child grows, he interacts with people, he solves problems, he makes friends. So that's how you can observe the development process. But growth is something which you can't observe, but you can measure. So this is the golden rule, golden formula. Development is equal to growth plus maturation plus learning. The right sequence here. Now, orderly patterns of growth and development. What are the orderly patterns? Cephalocordial. Cephalocordial is the orderly pattern. Development process from head to toe. Infants gain head control before leg control. So infants usually get the control of head before the legs start growing. So it's a cephalocordial. Cephalocordial is the process for it. It's the development proceeds from head to toe here. Next is proximodistal. Proximodistal is the process where development proceeds from center to Extremites, trunk control before fine motor skills. So fine motor skills usually get developed in proximodistal development process. In proximodistal development process, the trunk control before fine motor skills. Motor skills usually get developed here. Growth and development follow this predictable universal directional formula. So all growth and development process is mostly predictable, and these are mostly follow-cordial and proximodistal. So this is very clear here. And nature and nurture. What is the key differences between nature and nurture? Development is a product of interaction. Development is a product of interaction between hereditary and environment. Hereditary is nature, environment is nurture. So development is a product. It's a combination of interaction between the both. One cannot function effectively without the other. So both hereditary is important and environment is important. So both are correlated and one cannot function without the other. They together work to shape every child's unique developmental journey. So this is one important point. And hereditary, nature, genetic traits, biological potential, maturation, timeline. Hereditary. And environment is nurture, learning, social interaction, experiences, culture. Both essential. So both are important. Hereditary is nature and environment is nurture. So these are some of the important points here. So some quick summary. So suckings of growth. Growth is measurable, physical, stops at maturity, and it's largely hereditary. And development is very holistic. It's a lifelong qualitative plus quantitative process shaped by hereditary and environment. And maturation, it's a biological readiness. It sets the limit for development and it cannot be forced. Maturation is something which we can't force. It sets the limit for development and it is majorly biological ready stuff. Maturation is this thing. So these are the quick summary for development, growth, and maturation process. So we will also come up with another live session on other topics of CDP. So you do like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be posting more and more classes. Stay tuned to Srimati Education for more updates on Telangana TET exam. Thank you.